everyone, Dr. Hawley here with my good buddy and business partner, Steve McCoy, down in Bowling Green, Kentucky with HealthWorks Nutrition. We've been getting asked a lot lately about two of our most popular products, the AOD, which is the fat loss nasal spray that we have, and our Shred Stat. And we've been getting great results. And me, with COVID last year, guys, I'll be totally transparent. I put on a few extra pounds. So I'm done. I'm on this myself, and I'm starting to get great results and in short time. Now, my role as the physician in this is I get a lot of questions about how it's going to interact and what the mechanism actually works like. So I'm going to try to answer some of those real quick for you guys, and I'm just going to take a bird's eye view. So really quick, the AOD is basically a nasal spray, but it's a peptide. And for those of you that don't know what a peptide is, it's a short chain amino acid. It occurs in all of nature. We have them in us, okay? And the cool thing is, at the very end of those peptide molecules, those things, whenever they come in contact with a cell, that triggers a specific function for that cell to do. Well, with modern science now, we've been able to come in and cleave those two end molecules off of the peptide and put ones on that we can specify. For instance, guys, if we want to lose weight, we can put one on there that's going to cause lipolysis, the breakdown of fat cells, and start targeting fat. If we want to have one that's going to increase telomere length, which is for longevity of life and better living, we can put that molecule on. So that is a great benefit to have when you can specific target. Steve, you got anything to add on that and what you've been seeing from people?
Well, I tell you, it's very interesting, and I'm glad to hear you explain it to people, because I don't think people understand how the technology has evolved. After 26 years of doing this professionally, and then before that, when I was national karate champion and going around and touring, I was taking things, and I'm gonna tell you, I never thought I'd see the day that I said you really don't have to do much to lose fat or gain muscle. I never thought, because there's always, you got to work out so hard, and I think people would get discouraged because they were working out hard, but their diet was lacking or something was lacking, so they just couldn't get where they needed to get. They were stronger, they looked better in some ways, but they still didn't have a beach spot. And with this AOD 9604, I was really curious because I stay in good shape all the time. I'm a strict eater Monday through Saturday afternoon, and on Saturday night I'll go out with the wife, we'll go to a restaurant, and then on Sunday I eat what I want also, because I can do that and stay with my fitness. Now, is that ready for a title fight or ready for a bodybuilding show? Within 6 weeks of it, probably yes. But I wanted to find out what this stuff was about, because I knew that it had been in a shop for a while and I'd seen reviews about it. But quite frankly, once you transfer it over to a nasal spray, what's it going to be? Is it going to work? So I tried it myself. And after, honestly, everybody that had tried it, which is not that many in the world, because it's pretty new, had said that it took them about 2 weeks.
Yes.
Start noticing that they were looking leaner and tighter. However, placebo effect, I don't think so, because I'm really used to taking supplements. I've done it forever. And about 4 or 5 days in, I started feeling like my body was getting tighter, leaner, better. And for a person that walks around with low body fat already, I dropped 10 pounds on the scale in 21 days. And I didn't change anything. In fact, the first week or two, I actually ate more. So I found that pretty crazy to get that done. And then since then, I've had many people that's asked me about it and have tried it, doing research on their own. And, almost to a person, everybody is getting leaner, thinner. And some don't lose as much weight on the scale, but their inches are dropping, because basically it's just getting rid of that body fat. And it works so differently than anything else. Like some of the great things we have in the SARMs, like the Shred Stat, they're great and they work differently. So I've actually got some research going with some people taking one product and the other together. And then we've got some taking one and some taking another, and they're all doing well. And the ones that are doing the combo is like, it's crazy. So that's it. Yeah. Tell us how are you going so far?
That's what I'm doing. And like you, I have a cheat night, but I don't have a whole cheat day, but I have a cheat meal. And I know my calories, my macros. I got those dialed in. So at the end of the night, if I know I'm going to go, like last night, we went to a buffet last night. So yesterday I kind of went light on my calories so I could have fun at night. But it was all clean. So, but what I've noticed, and I want to debunk the placebo in case someone's thinking about that, I have a bioimpedance scale, which measures the body fat, the visceral fat, the subdermal fat, and the muscle mass. I have lost in a week and a half, I have lost almost 7 pounds, and I've gained 1 pound of muscle. So it's not that I've lost fat. I have lost visceral fat, which is very, very important for health conscious people. Visceral fat is the fat that's around your organs. That is where a lot of the disease comes from. That is where the inflammation comes from to cause a lot of these diseases. People can look good on the outside, but if they have a lot of visceral fat on the inside, the belly bloat, the love handles, the pear shape, that's really detrimental to health. So I can attest, I'm losing the fat.
And I think with me, as athletic and as healthy as I've stayed my whole life, I still could drop 10 pounds in 21 days. And I think it's because of the visceral fat, the fat that's been there for years that unless you dig down really deep or deprive yourself and go into a starving, you don't really get rid of that. It's the last to go. And most people never see that go. I really believe that.
We see it on the pre and post MRIs even of some of the patients that we would do. You can see the visceral fat around the organs where you can't see it inside. So it's like you can have a very unhealthy marathon runner, even though they look thin, but they're doesn't mean they're healthy,
Yeah.
So the visceral fat. You mentioned something about stacking it with our shred stack. And I just want to touch on that. So a lot of people have asked me what the shred stack is. Well, what we have done, and thanks to you've formulated this where you've combined 3 of the big hitters in the field of SARMs for rapid weight loss in the one pill. No one's done this yet to this extreme that we've done. And for those of you that don't know, SARMs is basically selective androgen receptor modulators, meaning it's like a strategic strike, a surgical strike missile going right to the cell's receptors to get a specific response. Now, the 3 ingredients, and I'm going to talk a little bit about them, and I'll let you tell, like we just did, what you've seen, is first one is ostarine, right? Basically, in a nutshell, ostarine triggers anabolism in the muscles by activating and stimulating the muscle stem cells. Anabolism is the building up of muscle tissue. Why is that so crucial when you're dieting? Because if you're in a calorie deficit, you're working out, you don't want to waste muscle. Like I said, I lost fat and I gained 1 pound of muscle. You want to have some anabolism. Who doesn't want to lose fat, gain muscle at the same time, right? So that's a key component of ostarine. The SR9011 is the newest designer SARM out there, right? Now, that inhibits glucose production and increases mitochondrial activity in the cells. Mitochondria is the powerhouses of the cell for our metabolism. Glucose production, whenever we eat something, we don't want it to turn to a whole bunch of glucose, causing an insulin spike, causing us to store fat through our liver system and our shunt. I'm not going to get into the depth of that, but SR9011 inhibits that process, cuts it off at the pass before it even has a chance to go that way. Now, the other thing that's cool is you got cardarine. Cardarine's been around for a while. It was originally studied for the circadian rhythm and all that with our sleep patterns, but it also can reduce inflammation, like we were talking, visceral fat, joints, DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness after workouts and everything else. That helps reduce inflammation from that. But the other thing, it causes an increase in glucose uptake. So say the first one lets some of the glucose gets by, the SR9011 doesn't inhibit all the glucose. What's in the bloodstream, cardarine's going to stimulate the muscle receptors to open up and shunt that glucose into the muscle instead of in your bloodstream where it'll go through the liver and go to fat storage. So you got 2 roadblocks right there in a sense for fat blockage. So those are some key components, and you combine those 3 in the one pill, and you do that with the stack with the nosocomial spray, the AOD, you got a powerful winning combination. So I'm seeing some great results. And some of the people that I've talked with, they're getting great research results with this. So what have you been seeing?
Absolutely. And one thing is, we talk about this so often, I think you forgot. The cardering is 0742, a new cardering, better, improved version. Not many studies done yet because all the studies were done on straight cardering. But basically, what these guys are doing in the labs is they're just improving and making a better mousetrap, right? So, but we've got the latest technology, the best ones there. And from seeing people come in and to ask, well, how can I lose weight? Well, can I lose body fat and burn fat at the same time? I say, yes. I said, if you people have a tendency to, if they want to gain weight, they just eat more or gain muscle. They eat more and they lift heavy, but then they have a belly, they let themselves go that way. Or if they want to lose weight, they just quit eating. And so then they lose weight.
They lose weight.
They lose muscle also. And so I'm like, well, why can't you build muscle and burn fat? If you're taking most SARMs, all of them really build muscle and burn fat. Some do muscle building primarily and secondarily help with the fat loss. But others, like the one obviously when we put it in a shred stack, is primarily fat loss and secondarily muscle gain. But don't think that Austrian by itself can't put on lean muscle, and even the S9011 and the cardering. So they're all geared for that. But it's kind of like you pick your poison, or not really your poison. You pick your best thing to go with. If you want to lose fat, you go with the more of the shredding and building muscle arms. So everybody's done really well that's tried the research on the shred stack. They really seem to do well, and they tend to gain muscle. I asked a guy the other day. He said, I'm losing great body fat. I'm doing great. I said, how's your strength? And are you putting on any muscle? He said, yeah, I'm actually stronger in every exercise. I'm doing great. So that's what it does. It actually works.
Now, I got to say, as a physician and a sports guy, I've also had people talk to me on this. Now, this isn't the one pill does everything. You cannot be in your mom's basement eating pizza pockets and Pop-Tarts and do this. As good as this is, there ain't nothing out there that's going to overcome that. You can't out nutrition and can't outwork a bad diet. So you got to put some effort in, but you will hedge the bet in your favor dramatically with this stuff.
Right. Absolutely. And, it's like, if you just, I tell people all the time, I said, you don't have to be a bodybuilder and be, super strict 24/7. I said, but maybe take the week, be strict, and then take a few, you have to do some balance, because if you go too extreme, then you won't stay there very long. You'll get off the wagon. And if you go too slack, you'll never get anywhere. So you have to do a happy medium. Everything in life's balance, but I could say this. I never really thought I would say, well, gosh, you got to work out really hard and do all these things. I never thought I'd never say that. And I'm telling you, with the help of some of these SARMs and some of these peptides, you absolutely, even an average person with average drive can do well and do better. And that's never been the case before. You usually had to, for somebody to dig down and drop some real body fat, they had to hit the treadmill, they had to supper, they had to go to bed hungry at night, things like that. And that has changed quite some, it should be good for people to know that you have hope, even if you got a little bit of quit in you.
Absolutely. So that I want to conclude this, because I don't want to go on, but I think that gives an idea of what they are and how they kind of work. And that these are cutting edge. This isn't something that's been around since 1950s. These are the cutting edge ones that's out there, and we're seeing great results. Now, I'm not saying it was yesterday developed, but we've had quite a few people come in the shop, quite a few people order it, having a hard time keeping some of it on the shelf to send out, to be honest with you, because it works. So there's a lot of questions, and we figured this video, just Steve and I talking, would kind of answer some of those and clear things up. If you guys got more specific questions geared to you, or want to know more about this, or talk to one of us in detail, we have our email on our site. It's mrxsupplements.com. Okay. And our email and everything else, how to get in contact with us there. And Steve, if they really want to talk, you've been great. You've been even getting on the phone with some of them and talking to them.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd love to help, because part of getting the full benefit of great research products is actually knowing the dosage and to take it, because you can't really find that because it's a research drug. So, you know, everybody's just kind of feeling their way. But
Yep.
quite frankly, there's been quite a bit of research over many, many, many years.
Yeah.
And I feel totally safe. I do a lot of research with SARMs and peptides, and I think it's the safest things I've ever had in my store and dealt with over 26 years. I mean, no stimulant, no, you know,
Yeah.
things that affect the heart. So if it has an underlying condition, things like that, I think, you know, they're really amazing, and I hope they keep progressing like this.
I think next time you and I talk about our mass stack, talk about how to build a
We will.
muscle stack geared for mass, then I've been getting a lot of CEOs and business owners asking me about focus and about, you know, Solank, our peptide Solank. And then guys, girls, we get a lot of people asking about the libido stuff. So we have stuff. We have.
I can't wait to talk about that. That's gonna be like, yeah,
we got to keep it curated.
That's pretty crazy.
All right, guys. Hey, we're gonna wrap this up. Steve, thanks for your time, and
Thank you, buddy.
you guys reach out to us if we can help. Take care. God bless.
Thank you.